So I decided to start the Hawthorne Club because as a young woman, I was covering Europe, the Middle East, and South Africa. I was working for a big Australian energy company, and at the time I was sent to meetings all over that region, and particularly in the Middle East. I really struggled to find female mentors. As you can imagine, there weren't too many women working in kind of the traditional energy sector. So I decided, we really need something that brings together all the women that are working in traditional energy to meet with those that are working in the policy area, to meet with those that are working in finance, and those that are working in these new disruptive technologies. So from that, I decided to found the Hawthorne Club, and I launched it in 2011 at the House of Lords in London. We had over 100 women participate, and since then, the club has just continued to grow. We now have a branch in Europe, a branch in the US, and a branch in the Asia Pacific region. Have over 65 corporate members around the world, with over 2,000 women participating in the different events. And so I think it's just been able to show us that there was a real need for this network in this sector, but also that the kind of globalization and the global world that we're working in, you need to have women from all the different regions, and you need to have that global piece to it to really to bring it together. So if I think back on my career, so I've worked in the energy sector now for almost 12 years. So this was when I was only 27. I was being sent out to the Middle East for a big negotiation with a big oil and gas company. I was being sent there with my boss at the time, who was a 75-year-old man. We get to this meeting, we're introduced, Miss Harris, sit down in the meeting room, and we sit and wait. And we're waiting. Two executives come in, they don't make eye contact or speak, so we weren't sure what to do, so we just sat, waited. And finally an assistant walked into the room, and she said, "Oh, sorry, we're waiting for the head here in the oil and gas company to come in. So can you tell us when Mr. Meade will arrive?" And that's when my boss said, "Well, she's sitting right there." And I think it was, that they had assumed that to lead a negotiation, it would have to be a middle-aged man. It could not be a younger, blonde American woman. And so I think that unconscious bias that exists in business and in, throughout everything in the world still is something that we have to work on. And so I think, part of what's great about this forum is that we're able to talk about this unconscious bias to students, because you're going to be the next leaders of the world. And so that if you can go in to an interview with someone and say, we're looking at the competency, but also it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You don't have a projection of a CEO having to be a white, middle-aged man. So I think that's really important, and I think that's what's great about this forum as well. One of the reasons why the energy industry is particularly of focus for me, it's my background, but also it's one of the least diverse in the world. So there's more men named John on the boards of energy companies globally than there are women. So I think the forum has just been so inspirational. It's been really, really wonderful to meet with so many students from very diverse backgrounds here that are so passionate about not only, just the subjects, that we're talking about today, but about learning and about the world, and that you want to make a change. So I think all of us that are speaking are really, delighted to be here, and like the woman who opened the conference, we should thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, okay. So I think that's all.